I sit cross-legged on my hardwood floor, surrounded by a sea of glossy photographs. The Vermont wedding I shot last weekend turned out even better than I hoped. The bride's cream-colored gown against the autumn foliage created exactly the contrast I was aiming for. My favorite shot captures the couple beneath a canopy of maple trees, their fingers barely touching as fallen leaves swirl around them. The phone rings. My mother's name flashes on the screen. I hesitate before answering, my finger hovering over the accept button. "Hi, Mom." I tuck the phone between my ear and shoulder, still organizing photos into potential album layouts. "Courtney." Her voice carries that familiar crisp edge. "I need to talk to you about Lily's wedding." I smile, thinking about my sister's upcoming Miami ceremony. I was actually planning to call her this week. I have some ideas for the photography that would be perfect for... You'll ruin your sister's wedding. Don't come. My coffee cup slips from my hand, shattering against the floor. Hot liquid splashes across the photographs, ruining hours of work. I barely notice. "What?" My voice sounds distant, like it belongs to someone else. "Lily needs all the attention," Margaret continues, her voice firm and unyielding. "Your success would overshadow her day." The room spins as I grip the edge of my desk. "Mom, that doesn't make any sense. I'm her only sister. All guests have received their invitations." Each word lands like a hammer blow. "Everyone except you." My stomach lurches. The familiar feeling of childhood abandonment floods back, being left out of family photos. Watching my artwork removed from the refrigerator to make room for Lily's stick figures. Sitting alone at the kids' table during Thanksgiving, while Lily perched on Dad's lap at the adults' table. "Mom, I'm her only sister. I've photographed 180 weddings. I could help." I hate the pleading tone in my voice, but can't seem to stop it. "This doesn't make any sense." "Think of it as your gift to Lily," Margaret says, her voice softening into something worse than anger-pity. "You've always needed to be the center of attention. For once, let your sister have her moment." My throat tightens. "Let me talk to Lily. This can't be what she wants." She agrees completely. This was partly her idea. The lie hangs between us. Or maybe it isn't a lie, which would hurt even more. I hang up without saying goodbye and immediately dial my father. He answers on the second ring. "Court? Everything okay?" "Dad, Mom just told me I'm not invited to Lily's wedding. That can't be right." The pause tells me everything I need to know before he even speaks. "It's for the best." "Court." His voice carries the same defeated tone he used when telling me I couldn't display my photography trophy, the one I won at 12, because Lily wouldn't feel bad. "You don't mean that." I press my palm against my forehead, trying to keep the room from spinning. "Your absence is a gift to your sister," he says. "Be selfless for once." The words slice through years of pretending this dynamic didn't exist. My mind flashes to Ethan framing my first magazine cover, opening champagne at midnight to celebrate when it arrived. His genuine pride contrasted sharply with my parents' uncomfortable silence when I'd sent them a copy. I looked down at the ruined photographs on my floor, moments I'd captured of strangers looking at each other with more love than my family has ever shown me. "I won't beg for an invitation to my own sister's wedding." The words emerge stronger than I expect. "Don't be dramatic." My mother's voice cuts in. "They must be on speakerphone. Think about someone besides yourself." "I've spent my entire life thinking about everyone else." My voice remains steady despite the earthquake happening inside me. Hiding my accomplishments. Making myself smaller. "All your cousins will be there," my father says. "Everyone's looking forward to celebrating with Lily. Don't make this difficult." The unspoken message is clear. The family narrative about me, the selfish, attention-seeking older sister, has already been established. They control how the extended family sees me. "I understand," I say finally, though I don't, not really. What I understand is that this pattern will continue forever unless I break it. My professional confidence and personal happiness can't survive if I keep accepting this treatment. I end the call just as I hear the front door open. Ethan walks in, his camera bag slung over one shoulder, stopping short when he sees me surrounded by broken ceramic and coffee-stained wedding photos. "Courtney, what happened?" His concern stands in stark contrast to the coldness I just experienced from my parents. The words tumble out between sobs: the uninvitation, my parents' justifications, the lifetime of being diminished to make my sister shine brighter. Ethan kneels beside me, careful to avoid the broken mug fragments. "They've done this your entire life. It's not right." He helps me salvage the photos that weren't ruined, his hands gentle as he blots coffee from the prints. We work in silence for several minutes before he speaks again. Your sister's wedding is about her, he says quietly. But your life is about you. I look up at him, suddenly seeing clearly what I've been missing all these years. The choice isn't between attending my sister's wedding or staying home. The choice is between continuing to make myself smaller or finally standing at my full height. I've spent my life making myself smaller. I whisper, a new resolve taking shape. Maybe it's time to stand tall. 3 weeks pass like molasses. I try burying myself in work, editing wedding albums until my eyes blur, but my phone remains silent. No calls from my mother, no texts from Lily. The wound of being uninvited to my own sister's wedding festers beneath a veneer of normalcy. Until Amanda calls. Court, you won't believe what Lily just posted. Amanda's voice crackles through my speaker as I balance phone and coffee mug, scrolling through client emails. Amanda has been friends with both me and Lily since high school, straddling the uncomfortable divide between us. I'm not sure I want to know, I say, but curiosity pricks at me. Miami Beach, $800,000 budget, white tulip centerpieces flown in from Holland, 8-course dinner with a celebrity chef. My stomach twists. 800,000? That's nearly double what they originally planned. Bradley's parents offered to cover most of it. Amanda says, her voice dropping to a whisper. Court, there's something else. I had lunch with Jenny yesterday. She's in the wedding party. My fingers tighten around my mug. And? Bradley told Lily he didn't want you there. Said you make everything about yourself. The coffee scalds my throat as I swallow too quickly. He's never even met me. Jenny overheard Lily telling him stories. About how you stole attention at her Sweet 16. About your scholarship ceremony overshadowing her debate team win. None of this happened. The scholarship ceremony lasted 10 minutes before my parents insisted we hurry to Lily's debate competition. We never even stopped for celebratory ice cream. After ending the call, I open Instagram. My mother's latest post jumps from the screen. A photo of Lily and Bradley surrounded by white roses, champagne flutes raised toward the camera. The caption reads, "Sometimes the kindest thing is to step back and let others shine." The hidden message couldn't be clearer if she'd tagged me. I spend the afternoon digging through family albums stored in our spare room closet. With each photograph, patterns emerge that I somehow missed for years. In nearly every family portrait, I stand slightly behind Lily, positioned off-center. My grandparents' pride in my first photography exhibit, noticeably dimmed after my mother whispered something in their ears. The time my father asked me to tone down my excitement when I won state photography competition because Lily had a rough week. It wasn't isolated incidents. It was systematic. Ethan finds me surrounded by photographs when he returns from filming. Without a word, he sits beside me on the floor, picking up a family beach vacation picture where my smile looks strained. Look at this, he says, pulling up his laptop. He opens a folder labeled Courtney Client Reviews and begins reading. Courtney Palmer didn't just photograph our wedding. She captured the exact moment I realized I would spend my life with this person. She has a gift for seeing people as they truly are. He reads another. Every time we look at our wedding album, we relive the day through Courtney's eyes. She made our day magical. Then another and another dozens of testimonials praising not just my technical skill but my ability to capture authentic emotion. A stark contrast to my family's narrative. These people see you, Ethan says simply. Your family can't. I stare at the photograph in my hand, 16-year-old me holding my first DSLR camera, careful not to smile too broadly because Lily had just received a B on her math test. My whole life, I thought if I just achieved enough, they'd finally be proud. But that was never the deal, was it? The deal was that I would always diminish myself so Lily could feel exceptional. That's their story, Ethan says, not yours. Past midnight, my phone buzzes. Lily's name illuminates the screen. I consider letting it go to voicemail, but some stubborn hope makes me answer. Hey, she says, her words slightly slurred. Are you awake? I am now. I'm at Hannah's bachelorette weekend. Everyone's asleep but me. A pause. I miss you, Court. The familiar ache returns. Then why aren't I invited to your wedding? She sighs heavily. Mom's afraid you'll charm everyone. You always do. Another pause. Bradley's parents have all these important connections. The wedding has to be perfect. And I'd ruin it by existing? You don't understand what it's like, Lily whispers. Sometimes it's hard being the favorite. the expectations crush me. I almost laugh at the absurdity. You're worried about expectations? I've spent my entire life trying not to outshine you. That's not true. It is, and deep down you know it. Silence stretches between us. Finally, she says, I should go, and hangs up. I sit motionless in the dark living room until Ethan finds me there an hour later. His eyes, sleepy but concerned, scan my face. What if we got away for the weekend? He suggests, pulling me against him. Clear your head. The next evening, we meet my photographer friends Sophia and Michael for dinner. I haven't told them about the wedding situation, but somehow they've heard. Your family can't see your light, Sophia says fiercely over pasta, because they're the ones dimming it. Michael leans forward. This isn't about winning or losing, Court. It's about reclaiming your narrative. How? I ask. Sophia smiles. By living well, by creating something beautiful. Their words roll through my mind, as Ethan and I walk home through the cool Seattle evening. Stars poke through the city's light pollution, remote and steady. They're right, I say finally. If I keep seeking their approval, I'll never stop making myself smaller. Ethan squeezes my hand. Then stand tall. I look up at the narrow strip of night sky visible between buildings, feeling something shift inside me, not just anger or hurt, but determination. For 27 years, I've lived by their rules, even from a distance, waiting for permission to take up space. To shine. I'm done shrinking, I say, the words settling into my bones like truth. I spread travel brochures across the coffee table in our cabin rental. After that devastating call from my parents, Ethan had insisted we needed a weekend away from Seattle to clear our heads. Lake Chelan in early summer offers exactly what we need, distance from family drama and space to breathe. Court, come look at this. Ethan waves me over from the deck where I've been photographing the sunset. His laptop screen glows with images of a stone villa perched on cliffs above impossibly blue water. What am I looking at? I settle beside him on the couch, still clutching my camera. Remember Giovanni, the director from the Milan documentary last year? I nod, recalling the elderly Italian filmmaker with wild silver hair who'd taken an immediate liking to Ethan during their collaboration. He rents his family villa for small weddings. Ethan clicks through photos, a stone terrace overlooking the Amalfi Coast, flowering vines cascading down ancient walls. A view that stretches forever across the Mediterranean. It's beautiful, I murmur, but my stomach tightens. We've been together 4 years and haven't seriously discussed marriage. Not because we don't want it, but because we've been postponing our happiness to avoid their disapproval. Ethan says it so plainly that I jerk my head up to meet his gaze. What? Think about it, Court. How many times have we talked about getting married someday? But we always find reasons to wait. The truth of his words hits me like a physical blow. I've been arranging my entire life around my family's approval, or rather, the desperate hope of someday earning it. 4 years of building our life together while waiting for permission from people who will never give it. Ethan takes my hand. Look at these dates. September 15th is available. My photographer's eye immediately calculates the angles, the light. That's perfect golden hour timing on the Amalfi Coast. 1 month before Lily's wedding, he adds softly. I look at him sharply. You think we should get married right before my sister? I think we should get married when and where we want to. We could have exactly the wedding we want, Court, not some production to please your parents or compete with Lily. Oh, so. He's right. Even from across the country, I've been living by their rules, waiting for some mythical moment when they might finally see me, support me, celebrate me. September 15th. I whisper, my mind already composing shots. Evening light on ancient stone, jasmine scent carried on sea breezes, Ethan waiting for me against a backdrop of endless blue. Is that a yes? His smile is cautious but hopeful. I laugh, the sound surprising both of us. Yes, let's do it. For the first time since that devastating phone call, I feel something other than hurt. Something that feels dangerously like power. The next morning, I wake with surprising clarity. I find my phone and take it onto the deck, away from Ethan's sleeping form. Margaret answers on the 3rd ring. Courtney, is everything all right? Her concerned tone almost makes me laugh, as if I only call when something's wrong, which, to be fair, has been the pattern lately. Everything's fine, Mom. Better than fine, actually. I keep my voice calm, measured. I wanted to let you know that Ethan and I are getting married. Silence stretches between us. Then, what? When did this happen? We've been together 4 years. The timing feels right. I watch an osprey circle above the lake. We've found a perfect spot in Amalfi. Just 25 guests. Very intimate. You can't possibly plan a wedding while Lily is planning hers. The edge in her voice is familiar. Do you have any idea how stressed she is with all the details? This will upset her terribly. And in the past, those words would have made me backtrack, apologize, minimize. Today, they simply wash over me. I'm not asking permission, Mom. I'm sharing news. My voice remains steady. Our small ceremony won't affect Lily's wedding at all. This is exactly what I mean about you always needing attention. She snaps. First you make a fuss about not being invited to Lily's wedding, and now you're planning your own right before hers? I take a deep breath. This isn't about Lily. This is about the life Ethan and I are building. Richard! I hear her call to my father. Courtney is trying to upstage Lily's wedding with her own. I close my eyes, but instead of the familiar shame, I feel strangely calm. I need to go, Mom. I just wanted you to hear it from me directly. Courtney. Goodbye, Mom. I end the call on my terms, not hers. The osprey dives toward the lake surface, emerging with a fish in its talons. I sit in the morning sun, waiting for the guilt and doubt to come. Instead, I feel only lightness. When I return inside, Ethan is making coffee. How'd it go? Exactly as expected. I smile, surprising myself. She thinks I'm trying to upstage Lily, but I didn't apologize, didn't back down, didn't make myself smaller. He hands me a steaming mug. Proud of you. My phone buzzes with texts from Jasmine and Taylor, 2 photographer friends I'd messaged last night about our plans. They both want to photograph the ceremony. I tell Ethan, scrolling through their enthusiastic responses. They say it's about time someone captured my moments instead of just everyone else's. Ethan grins. I emailed Giovanni. He's thrilled to host us, says the light that week is magical. More messages arrive throughout the day, my wedding clients from the past 2 years offering connections to Italian vendors, suggestions for music, promises to help however they can. The avalanche of support takes my breath away. Late that afternoon, Ethan's laptop pings with an email confirmation from Giovanni, including a personal note. My villa has hosted many weddings, but rarely ones between true artists who understand how to capture beauty. The house awaits your vision. I study the attached photos, already planning compositions, lighting setups, the exact moment when the setting sun will paint the stone walls gold. For the first time, I understand why my clients cry when they see my work. The power of having someone truly see your love story and capture it in its most perfect light. Should we invite them? I ask Ethan that evening as we watch stars appear over the lake. My family? Risk the drama? Or focus on creating our perfect day without their shadow? He wraps his arm around me. That's entirely your call. But remember, wedding photographer extraordinaire, what matters most in those moments you capture? Authenticity. I answer without hesitation. Then that's your answer. He kisses the top of my head. Whatever choice feels most authentic to you. I lean against him, watching the constellations emerge. The question suddenly seems less important than the realization that for the first time in my life, I'm making choices without calculating their effect on my family's approval. If this small act of independence feels this liberating, what might complete freedom from their judgment feel like? I spread out my portfolio on the living room floor, arranging wedding albums in a semicircle around me. It's been exactly 1 week since we booked Giovanni's villa on the Amalfi coast, and the initial euphoria has settled into something more substantial, a quiet determination. What's all this? Ethan asks, stepping carefully between the albums. Research. I tap the cover of a winter wedding I shot in Vermont. I've photographed 180 weddings, but I've never analyzed what actually makes them meaningful. Our apartment has transformed into a command center. The dining table displays timeline charts, the walls showcase inspiration boards, and color-coded guest lists occupy every flat surface. My industry connections, florists, officiants, caterers have all reached out after hearing our news, but I'm filtering every offer through a single question. Does this authentically reflect us? Ethan sits cross-legged beside me, paging through an album from a Napa Valley ceremony. This doesn't feel like you're planning revenge anymore. It's not revenge, I say. studying a candid reception shot where the groom's elderly grandmother dances with a flower girl. This is about creating something genuine. The satisfaction I felt telling my mother about our wedding plans has faded. That momentary victory wasn't enough. What matters now is building something authentic, not reacting to their exclusion. I pull out my notebook where I've been studying techniques to document our own ceremony. Since we're both behind cameras professionally, I want to ensure we capture our day properly. I need to approach this like my most important wedding assignment, I tell Ethan. That means analyzing every component objectively. In my professional shoots, I constantly look for unguarded moments, a father tearing up, hands intertwining, laughter during the vows. Those split seconds reveal more than any posed portrait. Now I'm applying that same analytical eye to our ceremony. What if we treated this like a documentary? Ethan suggests, his filmmaker instinct emerging. Let's tell our story, not theirs. I nod, already sorting through my portfolio for examples. Which moments actually matter? When I look through thousands of weddings I've shot, the same elements consistently resonate. Together, we begin examining my collection of photographs, identifying what creates authenticity. Not the expensive centerpieces or designer gowns, but the raw emotion captured when couples think no one is watching. We need Maria and Alex? I decide, referring to photographer friends whose work I've always admired. They understand my vision and can document while we experience. Ethan makes a note. Giovanni emailed this morning about local vendors and legal requirements. The paperwork needs filing 6 weeks before the ceremony. Harmon. We spend the afternoon coordinating logistics, cross-referencing with Italian marriage requirements, and selecting the few guests who've consistently supported us. Each decision feels like laying another brick in a foundation that has nothing to do with my family, and everything to do with our future. The phone rings late that evening. My cousin Amanda's name appears on the screen. Courtney, she says without greeting. Lily just called me hysterical. She heard about your Italian wedding from Bradley's cousin who follows your friend Maria on Instagram. My stomach tightens. And? Your mom is calling everyone in the family. She's telling people you're deliberately sabotaging Lily's special time. I close my eyes, visualizing the network expanding, aunts, uncles, cousins, all receiving carefully crafted messages portraying me as the villain. What did you tell her? Consider, I ask. I said I needed to talk to you first, Amanda says, her voice softening. Court, are you doing this to get back at them? The question hangs between us. A week ago, the answer might have been yes. Now, looking at our meticulously crafted plans spread across the apartment, I know differently. We're creating something authentic, I tell her, not competing with anyone. After hanging up, I find Ethan standing in the doorway, concern etched on his face. They're mobilizing the extended family, I say. He steps forward, placing his hands on my shoulders. Does that change anything for us? I look around at our command center, every element selected to reflect our values rather than respond to their rejection. No, I say with certainty. We keep building. 3 days later, I stand at the window of our apartment, sunlight spilling across my open laptop where Giovanni's latest email glows on the screen. The Amalfi Coast villa looks even more perfect in the new photos he's sent. Weathered stone walls draped with flowering vines, a terrace overlooking the Mediterranean, and the ancient olive trees that will provide branches for our ceremony. Did you see what Giovanni found? I call to Ethan, who's arranging camera equipment in the living room, a local florist who specializes in jasmine garlands. The scent will be incredible at sunset. Ethan looks up from his packing, a smile spreading across his face. That's exactly what we talked about. The documentary crew is confirmed too. Marco and Sarah will handle the main coverage while I focus on just being your groom. Our living room has transformed into a command center over the past weeks. Inspiration boards line the walls with fabric swatches in natural tones, sketches of table arrangements, and lighting diagrams for the golden hour when we'll exchange vows. No detail has been left to chance. I finalized the invitations this morning, I say, sliding a cream-colored envelope across the table toward him. Inside is a handcrafted card with pressed olive leaves and our names in simple calligraphy. Just 25 people who've consistently been there for us. Ethan examines the invitation, running his finger over the raised lettering. Perfect. Elegant without being showy. He meets my eyes. This is about creating memories that matter, not impressing anyone. I nod, feeling a calm certainty that has replaced the frantic energy of our initial planning. We're building something authentic, something that reflects who we are as a couple and as individuals. Each decision feels right in a way I never experienced when trying to please my family. My phone buzzes on the table. Lily's name appears on the screen. My stomach tightens as I pick it up, scanning the message. The Italian consulate said you filed for a marriage license. Why are you trying to steal my spotlight? My hands tremble slightly as I set the phone down. Lily knows about the license. I show Ethan the message. How would she even find that out? Your mother must have connections, Ethan says quietly. Or they've been watching closely. What if they try to interfere? The question slips out before I can stop it. What if they contact Giovanni or try to turn our guests against us? Ethan takes my hands, his grip steady and warm. Then we adapt. We've already decided who matters in our lives. The people coming to Italy are the ones who truly support us. My phone buzzes again with another text, this time from my cousin Jenna. Aunt Margaret called asking about your Italian wedding. She seems really upset. What's going on? Then another message from my college roommate. Your dad just reached out about some wedding in Italy? Are you okay? I close my eyes, feeling the walls closing in. They're mobilizing the extended family, just as they did with the Miami wedding. The familiar pattern of pressure and guilt sweeps over me. They're contacting everyone, I whisper, making me sound selfish again. That was always their plan, Ethan says. Question is, do we engage with these accusations or stay focused on our vision? I look around at our carefully crafted plans, the result of weeks of thoughtful consideration. I don't want to get pulled into their drama. This isn't about them. Later that evening, after securing our venue's privacy settings and alerting our small guest list about potential contact from my family, I step onto our balcony. Seattle's lights flicker below as I breathe in the cool air, feeling strangely calm despite the storm brewing. My phone rings. Giovanni's name flashes on the screen. Courtney, I received a strange call today, he begins, his Italian accent more pronounced than usual. A woman claiming to be your mother asked many questions about the ceremony. My heart sinks. I'm so sorry, Giovanni. My family situation is complicated. Do not worry, he says firmly. I told her nothing. Your day will be perfect. Italian privacy laws protect you, and I have informed my staff. No uninvited guests will disturb your celebration. Relief washes over me. Thank you. After we hang up, Ethan joins me on the balcony, wrapping his arms around my waist. Everything okay? Giovanni got a call from my mother, but he handled it perfectly. I lean back against him. He's taking extra security precautions just to be safe. Let's just focus on us, Ethan says, his voice steady in my ear. What happens in Miami doesn't matter. Standing there in the growing darkness, I realize how much I've changed. 6 months ago, my mother's call would have sent me into a tailspin of guilt and doubt. Now I feel centered, prepared, focused on creating something beautiful rather than reacting to their attempts to diminish me. The time for strategic preparation is ending. Next week, we'll board a plane to Italy, and all our careful planning will come to fruition. I can almost smell the jasmine and olive groves, feel the warm Mediterranean breeze on my skin as we exchange vows. Whatever storm my family might be brewing, we're ready. A week later, my phone buzzes at dawn. I've been up for hours anyway, organizing our photography timeline for the ceremony. Ethan sleeps peacefully beside me, his breathing steady and deep. The caller ID reads, Mom, and my stomach tightens. I take my coffee to the balcony before answering. Hello? You need to cancel Italy. Margaret's voice sounds different, not her usual controlled displeasure, but something sharper, more dangerous. That's not happening. I watch a seagull land on the railing across from me. Listen carefully, Courtney. If you go through with this, you'll never be welcome in this family again. The seagull takes flight as a car horn blares below. My fingers tighten around my mug. I don't understand why my wedding threatens you so much. Don't try to twist this. You know exactly what you're doing. Her voice vibrates with rage. 1 month before Lily's wedding? After everything we've done for you? A familiar male voice comes through the speaker. Dad. They've put me on speakerphone. You've always been selfish, Richard says, his disappointment cutting through the morning air. This proves it. I move back inside, not wanting neighbors to hear this conversation. I'm getting married to the person I love in a place that means something to us. How is that selfish? Lily's been hospitalized with anxiety attacks because of you, Margaret says. My heart stops. What? Is she okay? As if you care. Her voice drips with venom. Her doctor says the stress you're causing could affect her long-term health. The lie hangs between us. I've seen Lily's Instagram stories from her bachelorette party in the Bahamas 3 days ago, laughing on a yacht, cocktail in hand. That's not true, I say quietly. I saw her posts from the Bahamas. A pause. She pushed herself to go because she didn't want to disappoint her bridesmaids. My phone buzzes with a text. It's my cousin Rachel. Is it true you're stealing Lily's thunder? Everyone's talking about it. Go. Your grandmother may not be around for another wedding, Dad adds, his strategic guilt perfectly timed. She's heartbroken you'd choose a foreign ceremony she can't attend. My grandmother, who, according to Aunt Pamela, hasn't left Florida in 15 years. Your cousin Rachel agrees with us. Margaret continues. So do the Petersons. Even Julie thinks you're being cruel. Julie. My childhood best friend who moved to Australia 5 years ago and hasn't spoken to my mother since. You're lying, I say, surprising myself with how steady my voice sounds. Julie hasn't spoken to you in years. Another call beeps through Uncle Frank. Then a text from my mother's neighbor, Susan. Honey, are you sure about this Italian wedding? Sounds expensive and unnecessary. The coordinated assault is almost impressive. Cancel Italy, Margaret says again, or accept that you're no longer part of this family. My throat tightens. Is that what Lily wants too? This is coming from all of us. You've pushed your sister to her breaking point. I walk to the wall where Ethan and I have pinned our wedding plans, local olive branches and jasmine flowers, the cliffside view at sunset, our handwritten vows. I touch the corner of a photo, showing Giovanni's villa bathed in golden light. I'll think about what you've said. I tell them, not because I'm considering cancellation, but because I need this call to end. After hanging up, I sit at our kitchen counter, hands trembling despite my calm words. Ethan emerges from the bedroom, instantly reading the situation. Your parents? He asks, reaching for my hand. I nod. They've escalated. Complete family excommunication if we don't cancel. He pours coffee and sits beside me. Are you okay? I'm angry. They're coordinating a full-scale attack, getting relatives and friends to pressure me. I show him the texts. They even claimed Lily's been hospitalized with anxiety. His jaw tightens. That's a new low. I think we should call Adam about security for the ceremony, I say. Just in case. Ethan nods. Already ahead of you. Spoke with him yesterday. He knows a local guy in Amalfi who can be discreet. I look at him with surprise. What? I heard your mom on the phone with Aunt Carol last week. I knew this was coming. He squeezes my hand. This is about us, Court, not them. We spend the day finalizing details. I call our photographer friends who'll be documenting the ceremony, confirming their travel arrangements. Ethan contacts the videographer who'll capture everything documentary style. Giovanni emails confirming the jasmine and olive branch arrangements. By sunset, we've adapted our plans to account for potential disruptions without sacrificing our vision. The villa will have subtle security. Our guest list remains unchanged, 25 people who've consistently supported us. My phone rings again just after midnight. Lily. I answer hesitantly. Hello? Did Mom call you? Her voice sounds strained, nothing like her usual confident tone. Yes. A long pause. I didn't ask her to. I say nothing, waiting. Is it beautiful? She asks finally. The place in Italy? The question catches me off guard. Yes. It overlooks the Mediterranean. The light at sunset is perfect for photographs. She makes a small sound, almost like longing. 25 guests? Just people who matter to us. Another pause. Part of me wishes I was having your wedding instead of mine. The admission hangs between us. 230 people I barely know. Most of them are Bradley's family connections. For the first time, I feel something other than anger or hurt. I feel sorry for her. It's not too late to change things. I offer, though I know she won't. You know I can't. Her voice hardens again. Mom would never forgive me. Mom's forgiveness seems pretty conditional these days. Lily laughs without humor. Always has been. She pauses. I should go. Bradley's waiting. Lily. Just take good pictures, okay? The line goes dead. The next morning, Ethan and I stand in the airport terminal with our luggage. Our flight to Naples boards in 20 minutes. From there, we'll drive along the Amalfi Coast to Giovanni's villa. Last chance to back out, Ethan says, his eyes telling me he knows I won't. I look down at our boarding passes, then at the photo on my phone, Giovanni's villa against the Italian sunset, the perfect backdrop for a photographer's wedding. I think of my mother's ultimatum, my father's disappointment, my sister's whispered confession. No turning back, I say, slipping my hand into his. We board the plane, finding our seats by the window. As the aircraft begins taxiing, I review our wedding vows one last time. Words that honor our chosen family. Words that speak to the life we're building, not the one I'm leaving behind. Ethan leans over to kiss my temple. This is about us, not them. The plane accelerates down the runway, lifting into the air. Below us, Seattle grows smaller until it disappears beneath the clouds. Ahead lies Italy, Giovanni's villa, and the ceremony that will decide everything. I close my eyes and finally allow myself to feel excitement. No matter what happens with my family, in 3 days I'll marry Ethan in the golden Mediterranean light, surrounded by people who truly see me. No turning back. I whisper again, this time with certainty instead of fear. On our wedding day, I stand at the edge of Giovanni's villa terrace, breathing in the scent of jasmine that winds through the iron railings. The September sun hangs low over the Amalfi Coast, bathing everything in that perfect golden light I've spent years chasing through my camera lens. Is it everything you hoped for? Ethan asks, sliding his arm around my waist. Better, I whisper, my voice caught somewhere between awe and disbelief. The Mediterranean spreads before us, a canvas of deep blue dotted with fishing boats returning to harbor. Behind us, our 25 guests mingle on the stone patio where white wooden chairs face an arbor draped with olive branches and jasmine vines. Giovanni approaches, his weathered face creased with genuine pleasure. The light is perfetto today, he says, gesturing toward the horizon. In 40 years filming here, I have never seen it more beautiful. He squeezes my hand. Your photographer friends are setting up now. They say the conditions are ideal. I nod, unable to form words. After years of capturing other couples' memories, today my vision will shape my own wedding. James and Vanessa, 2 photographers I've collaborated with for years, position themselves at opposite ends of the terrace. Not competing, but complementing, capturing different angles of the same authentic moment. Just as we planned. 10 minutes, Ethan's friend Marcus announces, adjusting his camera rig for the documentary filming we've arranged. No staged moments, no artificial poses. Just truth. I retreat to the villa's master bedroom, where my simple silk dress hangs by the window. The fabric catches the breeze, dancing slightly. Not a princess gown like Lily's, but exactly what I would have chosen for my most important client. As I slip it on, I remember all those brides I've photographed, their nervous excitement, their transformative joy, and finally understand. When I emerge onto the terrace, the guests rise. Their faces, friends who've celebrated my successes when family wouldn't, clients whose weddings became friendships, colleagues who respect my vision reflect back the person I am, rather than the diminished version my family insists upon. The guitarist begins playing Northern Sky by Nick Drake, not the wedding march, but a song Ethan and I discovered during our first road trip together. I walk toward him alone, no one giving me away because I belong to myself first. Ethan watches me approach, his expression open with wonder. Not the polite admiration of a groom seeing a bride in white, but the genuine recognition of someone seeing their partner choosing joy. The officiant welcomes everyone as the sun begins its final descent toward the horizon. The timing is perfect, exactly when photographers call the golden hour. Light spills across the terrace, casting everything in rich, warm tones that need no filter. Marriage isn't just the joining of 2 people, the officiant says, but the creation of a new story, one written together, day by day. Ethan's voice stays steady as he recites his vows. I promise to see you, not just look at you, but truly see you. To celebrate your success as my own. To build a home where your light is never dimmed. My hands tremble slightly as I unfold my paper. I promise to stand tall beside you. To create beauty without apology. To remember that love doesn't require permission. As we exchange rings, the Mediterranean turns to liquid gold behind us. James shifts positions, capturing the moment the light catches the simple bands. Vanessa crouches low, framing us against the coastline. They move with practiced precision, executing our strategy with perfect coordination. When the officiant pronounces us married, applause erupts from our chosen family. No polite golf claps or obligatory smiles, just genuine celebration from people who want us to succeed. During the intimate dinner that follows, our documentary team captures the authentic laughter, the spontaneous embraces, the quiet moments of connection that marketing campaigns can never manufacture. Giovanni rises for a toast, his Italian accent growing stronger with emotion. I have seen many American movies about weddings, he says, drawing chuckles from our guests. Always there is drama, always someone objects, but true love, he pauses, looking directly at me, true love requires courage to claim your own story. I glance at Ethan, who squeezes my hand under the table. My own story, not the supporting character in someone else's. The evening unfolds exactly as I envisioned. The guitarist plays soft melodies as twilight deepens. Strings of lights illuminate the terrace where our friends dance without self-consciousness. No forced traditions, no performative cake cutting, no obligatory dances with fathers who diminish you. Hey! James approaches, his camera hanging at his side. I got something earlier I think you should see. He shows me his camera display, a shot taken during the ceremony. Ethan and I in profile, our hands joined, the Mediterranean spread behind us in a wash of gold and blue. The angle captures the jasmine vines framing us perfectly, while the light creates a natural halo effect. It's exactly what I would have composed for my highest paying client. Do you mind if I post this one? James asks. It's special. I nod, suddenly unable to speak. As James walks away to upload the image, Vanessa appears at my side. That's going to break the internet, she predicts, nodding toward James's retreating figure. It's just a wedding photo, I say automatically. The habit of minimizing my success is still strong. No, she corrects gently. It's art. Later, as Ethan and I share a quiet moment at the terrace edge, my phone begins buzzing with notifications. James's single image has exploded online. 800 comments already, Ethan murmurs, scrolling through my phone. Listen to this one. Most beautiful ceremony I've ever seen. From Helena Baxter. From Helena Baxter. The Helena Baxter? I ask, disbelieving. Helena Baxter, whose wedding photography book sits on my desk at home, whose work inspired me to pursue this career. Ethan nods, continuing to scroll. The Italian Tourism Board just reshared it with Wedding of the Year caption. The notifications keep coming. Industry professionals asking who captured the image. Magazines requesting permission to feature it. And most significantly, comments from people I've never met, moved by the authentic joy radiating from the photograph. This is what they were afraid of, Ethan says quietly. Not that you'd ruin Lily's wedding, but that you'd prove them wrong. I lean against him, watching stars emerge above the darkening Mediterranean. For years, I've captured other people's happiest moments. Today, I created my own. Marcus approaches, documentary camera still rolling. You've created something extraordinary, Court, he says, using Ethan's nickname for me. Giovanni joins us, his weathered face serene in the soft evening light. Your vision has honored this place, he says simply. Many Americans come to take from Italy's beauty. You have added to it. As the evening deepens, James returns, his face alight with excitement. You need to see this, your photo just hit 1 million views. InStyle magazine commented asking for contact information. I check my phone again, surprised to find texts from extended family members, cousins and aunts, who declined our invitation. Words of admiration and, perhaps more tellingly, regret. But their validation no longer matters. The success of this day isn't measured in views or comments or even professional recognition. It's measured in the authentic joy captured in James's photograph. It's measured in the chosen family surrounding us. It's measured in the fact that for the first time in my life, I didn't make myself smaller to make someone else feel bigger. As midnight approaches, Ethan and I slip away from the celebration to a quiet corner of Giovanni's garden. Above us, stars scatter across the Italian sky like diamonds on velvet. How does it feel? Ethan asks softly. I consider his question carefully, searching for the perfect words. In this moment, I am not Courtney the second choice, Courtney the attention seeker, Courtney who must be diminished. I am simply Courtney, artist, partner, creator of my own story. It feels like stepping into the best photograph I've ever taken. I reply. and realizing I'm finally exactly where I belong. I wake to sunlight streaming through our bedroom window, casting golden patterns across the sheets. 6 months after our Amalfi Coast wedding, the familiar tightness in my chest when thinking about my family has dissolved into something lighter. My phone buzzes with notifications. 3 major wedding magazines want feature stories on what industry blogs now call the Amalfi Revolution. A smile forms as I remember the moment that image went viral. Sunset bathing Ethan and me in amber light. Our hands clasped as we exchanged vows against the Mediterranean backdrop. Giovanni's ancient olive trees framing the scene. Still can't believe it, Ethan mumbles, rolling toward me. He reaches for my hand, his thumb brushing my wedding band. Which part? I ask. All of it. He gestures toward my laptop where the Netflix contract sits open. Documentary about redefining wedding photography. That's you, Court. The proposal arrived yesterday. They want to follow me through a year of weddings, documenting how I capture authentic moments. The director called it revolutionary storytelling through still images. My phone buzzes again. Another text from Lily. Unlike my mother's cold silence and my father's brief, formal congratulations, Lily has been reaching out since her Miami wedding. Yours looked more like you than mine looked like me. Reads her latest message. I set the phone down without responding. She's sent similar texts since the photos spread across social media, each one a small acknowledgement of what I've always known, that authenticity matters more than perfection. The transformation in my life feels almost surreal. I sleep without the weight of seeking approval. I make decisions without second-guessing. When I review client galleries, I trust my eye completely. We should call Giovanni, Ethan says, getting up. The foundation paperwork should be almost ready. The Love Without Permission Foundation, our newest venture supporting artists facing family disapproval. Giovanni became more than our wedding venue host. He's now our partner in creating grants for photographers whose vision others try to diminish. I have the family I've chosen, I say, the words settling into truth. Later that afternoon, I sit in my studio, reviewing portfolios from wedding clients. My waitlist stretches 6 months out, filled exclusively with couples who value my documentary approach. No more saying yes to every job, no more hiding my vision to please others. On my wall hangs a collection of family photographs I once kept hidden in drawers. I look at them now without pain. My 12-year-old self holding that first photography trophy, my graduation with my camera around my neck while my family focused on Lily. These images tell a story of becoming, not of loss. The contrast with that day 7 months ago feels profound. When my mother called to uninvite me from Lily's wedding, I sat cross-legged among shattered coffee cups and ruined prints. Today I sit surrounded by international awards and images that speak my truth. My assistant knocks lightly before entering. Your 3 o'clock is here, the young photographer from Portland? Jessica Thomas arrives, clutching a portfolio case, her hands trembling slightly. At 22, she reminds me painfully of myself. Talented but uncertain, her eyes darting around my studio with a familiar hunger for validation. My parents think photography is a hobby, not a career, she explains after showing me brilliant, evocative images of Pacific Northwest weddings. They want me to finish my accounting degree. 5 years ago, I would have offered sympathy and platitudes. Today, I recognize the moment for what it is, a chance to break a cycle. Your vision matters, I tell her, meeting her eyes directly. Don't diminish it for anyone. I explain the mentorship program I've launched, connecting young photographers with established professionals who understand family pressure. Your light doesn't diminish anyone else's, I say. Words I wish someone had told me years earlier. Jessica leaves with a spot in our workshop series and tears in her eyes. As the door closes behind her, Ethan walks in with his camera. Documenting another transformation? I ask, nodding toward his lens. The foundation wants footage for the website launch. He sets up his tripod. 3 photographers have already secured exhibitions through our grants. The series on Chosen Family premieres next month. I think about how completely the frame has shifted. My mother once told me to make myself smaller for Lily's wedding. Instead, I created something true to my vision that helped others stand taller. That evening, I stand before a crowd accepting the International Vision Award for Wedding Photography. The applause washes over me as I approach the podium. The faces looking back include colleagues who documented our Amalfi ceremony, clients whose authentic moments I've captured, and Jessica sitting proudly in the front row. The frames we choose define the story we tell. I begin, voice steady and strong. For years, I allowed others to frame my story through their limitations. I accepted being cropped out, pushed to the background, my colors muted. The room grows quiet. Authenticity isn't selfish, I continue. It's the greatest gift you can give, to yourself and to others seeking permission to shine. As I hold the award, I think about that broken coffee cup on my floor, the ruined photographs, the moment when everything changed. The truth crystallizes in my mind with perfect clarity. When people try to make you smaller, that's when you need to stand tallest. I stand in the center of my living room, taking in the soft glow of fairy lights strung across exposed brick walls I spent weeks restoring by hand. The banner I crafted from vintage wallpaper scraps catches the light. Happy birthday, Mira. Friends and family mill about, their laughter mingling with the clink of glasses and the warmth of celebration. 4 years of backbreaking renovation work transformed this space from a deteriorating shell into my dream home. Every detail, from the restored crown molding to the hand-stained hardwood floors, carries a piece of my soul. Even Nathan, my usually stoic brother, had whistled in appreciation when he first saw the finished product. A sharp knock at the door cuts through the festivities. An attendant in a crisp uniform stands rigidly in the doorway, holding an elegantly wrapped silver envelope. "Miss Harding?" His voice is clipped, professional. "This requires your immediate attention." My fingers tremble as I untie the delicate bow. The paper feels expensive, heavy with unspoken weight. As I unfold the document inside, the bold letterhead strikes like a physical blow. Notice to vacate. The room spins. 21 days. They're giving me 21 days to leave my home. I look up to find every eye in the room fixed on me. Matthew and Lillian, my parents, exchange glances loaded with something I can't or don't want torrid. Nathan's face has gone pale, his champagne glass frozen halfway to his lips. The silence spreads like poison. "What is this?" My voice comes out strangled, barely recognizable. The beautiful cake on the counter, its candle still unlit, seems to mock me with its cheerful presence. "Now, Mira, let's discuss this rationally." Sienna's voice cuts through the tension, smooth as silk and just as cold. My cousin steps forward, her designer heels clicking against the floors I spent weeks refinishing. "The market is incredibly hot right now. It would be foolish not to capitalize on such an opportunity." Capitalize? The word tastes bitter. This is my home. I've put 4 years of my life into this place. The apartment remains in Matthew and Lillian's names, Sienna continues, as if explaining something simple to a child. The financial potential is simply too significant to ignore. Memories flash through my mind like a cruel slideshow. Sienna's knowing smiles at family gatherings, Nathan's awkward silences, my parents' evasive answers about finalizing the property transfer. All those little moments I dismissed, now forming a picture I can't unsee. "You knew." I turn to my parents, my voice cracking. "You've known this was coming." Lillian wrings her hands, unable to meet my eyes. Matthew clears his throat. "It's just business, sweetheart. Nothing personal." Nothing personal. The renovation receipts in my office upstairs. The permits. The thousands of hours of work. The dreams I'd poured into every inch of this space. Nothing personal. My hands clench into fists, crumpling the notice. Tears burn behind my eyes, but I refuse to let them fall. Not here. Not in front of them. I retreat to my study, my sanctuary. Blueprints and renovation sketches cover the wall's testament to everything I've built, everything they're trying to take away. The city lights twinkle beyond the window, unchanged and uncaring. What am I going to do next? The question hangs in the air like smoke, choking but clarifying. Because deep down, I already know the answer. This isn't just about an apartment anymore. This is about justice, about truth, about family bonds twisted into weapons. And I'm done being their target. My gaze shifts to the detailed timeline pinned above my discovery permit. Every renovation milestone meticulously documented. Sienna might think she's orchestrated the perfect betrayal, but she has no idea how thoroughly I document everything. Every email, every conversation, every suspicious glance. I run my fingers along the edge of my grandmother's silver locket, drawing strength from its familiar weight. Sienna's calculated treachery ends here. I'll expose every manipulation, every lie she's whispered in my parents' ears. She thinks I'll break quietly, disappear with dignity. She's about to learn how wrong she is. My hands shake as I spread the renovation documents across my desk, each one a piece of the life I've built here. The soft glow of my desk lamp illuminates permit applications, contractor agreements, and material receipts, 4 years of dreams crystallized in paper and ink. Something catches my eye. The signature on the latest building permit doesn't match the others. I grab my phone, pulling up a photo of the original document. Stomach lurches. The dates are wrong, the new permit is backdated 3 months. But I remember filing it just 6 weeks ago. No, I mutter, diving deeper into the stack. More inconsistencies emerge. Notary stamps with mismatched dates, permit applications with subtle alterations, contract drafts that shouldn't exist. Each discovery hits like a physical blow, forming a pattern I can't ignore. The wall of evidence before me tells a story of calculated deception. Sienna hasn't just been planning this eviction, she's been orchestrating it for months, manipulating documents and falsifying permits. My cousin's perfectly manicured fingerprints are all over this betrayal. A soft knock interrupts my investigation. Nathan stands in the doorway, his tall frame casting a long shadow. His face is drawn, guilty. I've never seen my usually confident brother look so small. Can we talk? His voice cracks slightly. I gesture to the chair across from my desk, not trusting myself to speak. Nathan sits, his eyes fixed on his hands. I should have told you sooner, he begins, the words tumbling out in a rush. At Mom and Dad's anniversary party last month, I overheard something. My heart pounds as Nathan describes the scene. Sienna and Damien, CEO of Meridian Real Estate Group, tucked away in Dad's study. Their voices carried through the partially open door Sienna's smooth confidence, Damien's calculated interest. She was laying out the whole plan. Nathan continues, running a hand through his disheveled hair. Talking about market values, profit margins, quick sales. She made it sound so clinical, like she wasn't destroying someone's home, like she wasn't destroying your home. The betrayal cuts deeper with each word. And you said nothing. I convinced myself it wasn't real, Nathan whispers. That Sienna was just talking, dreaming big like she always does. But then I saw her meeting with Mom and Dad, planting doubts, playing on their fears about the market crashing. I turned back to my evidence wall, seeing it with new clarity. A pattern emerges in the email threads, each one meticulously crafted to exploit our family's weaknesses. To Dad, Sienna emphasized market volatility and lost opportunities. To Mom, she spoke of securing their retirement, playing on her lifelong financial insecurities. The timestamps paint a devastating picture. 3 months of systematic manipulation. Look at this, I say, pulling up an email chain. She's been feeding Damien information about our family finances for weeks. Guest lists from family events, renovation budgets, even Mom and Dad's retirement plans. My voice shakes with anger. She's not just selling the apartment, she's selling us out. The scale of Sienna's betrayal becomes clear as I organize the evidence. My cousin, always the perfect one, the successful one, has been orchestrating this scheme with the precision of a surgeon. And Damiani's name appears in email after email, his influence casting a long shadow over our family's future. His reputation in the real estate world makes him dangerous. His connection to Sienna makes him lethal. My phone buzzes. Elsie's name lights up the screen. She's been helping me compile evidence since the party, her background in corporate law proving invaluable. I found something, she says without preamble. Those permit alterations? They're tied to a series of property deals Damien's company pushed through last year. Same pattern, same tactics. Send everything, I tell her, already clearing space on my desk. We need. A text from an unknown number cuts me off. The message makes my blood run cold. Back off now, or you'll regret it. Some things should stay buried. Asterisk. I show Nathan the text. His face pales. Mira, maybe. Number. I cut him off. Steel in my voice. I'm done backing off. I'm done being manipulated. I reach for the bottom drawer of my filing cabinet, pulling out a folder I'd almost forgotten about. My hand steady as I open it, revealing one final piece of evidence zone that could bring Sienna's whole scheme crashing down. Nathan leans forward. What is that? I look up at my brother, a grim smile playing at my lips. That depends on how badly Sienna wants to play this game. The crystal chandeliers of the Grand Regency Hotel cast dancing shadows across polished marble as I navigate through clusters of silk dresses and tailored suits. Tonight's charity gala should be about supporting local historic preservation. Instead, my phone buzzes incessantly with notifications as Sienna's carefully crafted lies spread like wildfire across social media. I slip away from the crowd, my heels clicking against the floor as I make my way to the private lounge. The leather chair creaks as I sink into it, pulling out my laptop. My hands tremble slightly as I log into my email, but my resolve hardens as I dig deeper into Sienna's corporate account archives. Got you, I whisper, opening a series of emails that make my blood run cold. The timestamps don't match the metadata. The permit numbers are sequential when they should be random. Every falsified document is like another knife in my back, but it's also ammunition. A notification pops up, another live stream from Sienna. Her voice flows smooth as honey through my earbuds. Of course, we're deeply concerned about the structural integrity of the renovations. The safety of our community must come first. My fingers curl into fists. The renovation permits are spotless. I spent months ensuring every detail was perfect. But there it is on the screen. Doctored inspection reports casting shadows on my work, carefully leaked to maximize damage. The recording I discover next nearly stops my heart. Sienna's voice crisp and clear. The property values in that neighborhood are about to skyrocket, Damien. Once we force a quick sale, the returns will be astronomical. A male voice, Damien, chuckles in response. Your cousin won't know what hit her. I sit back, my mind racing. The gala continues beyond the lounge doors, a symphony of clinking glasses and polite laughter. Sienna is out there right now, probably working the room with that practiced smile. Every handshake, every air kiss is another thread in her web of manipulation. The next evening, the Bellevue Manor dining room breathes old money. Crystal stemware catches the light, white tablecloths gleam immaculate. The perfect stage for what comes next. I wait until the main course arrives, then stand, my chair scraping against hardwood. I have something to share. My voice carries across the table. Sienna's fork pauses halfway to her lips. I have copies of every email you've sent regarding my property. My hands shake, but my voice stays steady, including the ones where you discuss falsifying inspection reports with Damien. The silence is absolute. Sienna's practiced smile doesn't waver, but her knuckles whiten around her fork. Mira, darling, you're making a scene. Perhaps we should discuss this privately. Like you discussed my eviction privately? I pull out my phone, clicking play. Sienna's voice fills the room. The property values in that neighborhood are about to skyrocket. The color drains from her face. That's enough. Sienna's voice cracks like a whip. You're clearly unstable. Number. The word comes from behind me. I turn to see Nathan standing, his dinner napkin crumpled in his fist. She's not unstable. I heard you, Sienna. That day in your office with Damien. I heard everything. Elsie rises next, her eyes blazing. I have copies of the original permits, every inspection report. Would you like me to show everyone here the difference between Mira's actual renovation documentation and your creative edits? Something shifts in the room. A current of whispers, the rustle of silk as people lean forward. I feel it in my bones, the moment when truth begins to outweigh lies. Sienna's mask slips for just a second, revealing the calculation beneath. I retreat to my study later that night, surrounded by the evidence of years of work. Blue permits line the walls, each one a testament to dreams built brick by brick. The city sparkles beyond my window. My city, my home, my truth. I reach for my grandmother's locket, its silver warm against my palm. The weight of it grounds me as I begin methodically organizing the evidence. Each document goes into a color-coded folder, each digital file uploaded to secure cloud storage. My attorney Jonathan's business card sits on my desk, his reputation for handling fraud cases exactly what I need. My phone buzzes, a message from Samantha Clark, the journalist who's been following the local real estate market for years. Another from Gregory Holt, the community board president. Allies gathering, drawn to the scent of corruption exposed. The last piece falls into place when Uncle Robert calls. His voice is heavy with guilt. Sienna's been working on this for months, Mira. We should have seen it sooner. Should have said something. I hang up and stare at the final file on my desktop. The recording I haven't shared yet. The one that captures Sienna and Damien in an unguarded moment, spelling out their entire scheme. My secret weapon, waiting for the perfect moment. Tomorrow is the town hall meeting. Tomorrow, everything changes. The question isn't whether I'm ready. The question is, are they? The town hall buzzes with tension. Every seat is filled. Residents, investors, reporters clutching notepads. Camera phones point toward the podium like accusing fingers. The utilitarian space is a far cry from Sienna's carefully curated galas, but power feels different here. Raw, real. My laptop connects to the projector with a soft click. The screen behind me illuminates, blank and waiting. In my pocket, the flash drive feels heavy with truth. Thank you all for coming. My voice carries across the room, steady despite the pounding of my heart. I'm here to share some information about the proposed development deal for Highland Avenue. Sienna shifts in her seat in the third row, her designer suit stark against the metal folding chairs. Damien sits beside her, his usual smooth confidence showing hairline cracks. I pull up the first document. These are the original renovation permits. My fingers move to open the video file, the recording that will shatter their carefully constructed lies. The screen flickers, goes black. Murmurs ripple through the crowd. Someone coughs. I feel sweat trickle down my spine as I click frantically, trying to restore the connection. Technical difficulties? Sienna's voice drips with fake sympathy. Perhaps we should move on to a number. I straighten my shoulders, meeting her gaze directly. We're going to see this through. Every last second of it. The truth doesn't need perfect timing. It just needs to be heard. The screen flickers back to life. The Rosewood banquet hall glitters with false promises. Crystal chandeliers cast rainbow prisms across the champagne flutes and designer dresses of Silicon Valley's elite. My heels sink into thick carpet as I make my way through the crowd, each step measured, deliberate. This engagement party Sienna and Damien's crowning achievement is about to become their undoing. I catch my reflection in a gilded mirror, structured black blazer, hair swept into an elegant chignon, grandmother's silver locket gleaming at my throat. My hands don't shake as I pull out my phone and send the signal to Elsie. 3 quick taps. Showtime. The projector screen descends silently behind the stage where Sienna stands delivering her speech, her voice dripping with practiced charm. Damien and I are so blessed to have such wonderful family and friends. Her words fade as the first document appears on screen. My original renovation permits, dated and notarized, followed by her forged versions. The differences are stark, damning. Murmurs ripple through the crowd. Sienna's voice falters as she spots the projection. Her champagne glass trembles, catching the light like a crystallized warning. I think, I say, my voice carrying across the sudden hush, we should discuss the real estate deal you've been orchestrating. I step onto the stage, each click of my heels against hardwood a punctuation mark. Specifically, how you forged documents to steal my home. Sienna's perfectly lined lips part in shock. Mira, this is hardly the time. Actually, it's exactly the time. I pull out my phone again, and the recording fills the banquet hall. Sienna's voice, clear and cold, discussing the fraudulent sale with Damien. Their words echo off marble floors and crystal stems. Once we get rid of her, the property's ours. Investors shift uncomfortably in their seats. I spot Mrs. Chen, one of our biggest backers, leaning forward with narrowed eyes. 2 real estate developers exchange worried glances. The truth spreads like wine across white carpet. It's impossible to ignore, impossible to hide. This is absurd. Sienna sputters, her composure cracking. Mira is clearly unstable. She's always been jealous of my success, my relationship with Damien. The documents speak for themselves. I cut in, gesturing to the screen, where proof of her deception continues to scroll. Every forged permit, every manipulated contract, every secret meeting, all meticulously documented. These are obviously fabricated. Sienna snaps, but her voice has lost its silk. She turns to the crowd, desperation bleeding through her perfect makeup. You all know me. I would never. I can verify these documents. Nathan's voice rings out as he stands, tablet in hand. My brother's face is pale but determined. I have the original email threads right here. Elsie steps forward next, her own evidence ready. I have the notary's sworn statement confirming these signatures were forged. The room erupts in whispers. Damien, I notice, has gone very still, his knuckles white around his champagne flute. The grand romance of the evening sours as reality sets in. Their perfect facade is crumbling, one exposed lie at a time. Sienna makes one last attempt to salvage her reputation. This is nothing but a vindictive display from a failed designer who has proof of everything. I finish for her. I pull out a final folder slim, elegant, devastating, including evidence of something much bigger than a simple property grab. The folder's contents spill across the projection screen, Documents linking Sienna and Damien to a wider web of real estate fraud, each connection more damning than the last. The silence that follows is absolute. Even the crystal chandeliers seem to hold their breath. The question isn't just about one stolen home anymore, is it? I ask, my voice carrying to every corner of the suddenly airless room. It's about how deep this deception really goes, and who else might be involved. I lock eyes with the assembled investors, the influential family members, the real estate moguls who came to celebrate love, but found fraud instead. Their faces reflect varying degrees of shock, anger, and dawning realization. Some already have their phones out, no doubt calling their lawyers. In the end, it's Mrs. Chen who breaks the silence. I believe, she says, rising from her seat with elegant dignity, we all need to reevaluate our business relationships. Her words fall like a judge's gavel in the stunned quiet. I step back from the microphone, my part done. The evidence speaks for itself now, spreading through the crowd like wildfire. As chaos erupts around me, Damien arguing with his lawyer in harsh whispers, investors demanding explanations, family members choosing sides, I catch my reflection again in that gilded mirror. The woman staring back at me isn't broken anymore. She's brilliant, fierce, unstoppable. But there's more to come. As I scan the documents one final time, names jump out at my corporations, shell companies, a web of connections far beyond Sienna and Damien. This isn't just about my apartment. It's about an entire network of property fraud, stretching across the city like a spider's web. Damien's face has lost all color as he stares at the screen, no doubt recognizing the implications. His perfect posture crumbles as he loosens his tie, eyes darting between the exits. He knows as well as I do this exposure threatens not just his engagement, but the entire carefully constructed empire he and his corporate partners have built. I step back to the microphone one last time. When faced with betrayal, I say, my voice clear and steady, do we stay silent to keep the peace, or do we expose the truth no matter the cost? The question hangs in the air like crystal chimes, a challenge to everyone present. In the tense silence that follows, I catch fragments of whispered conversations. How deep does this go? Who else is involved? What other properties? And I'm just beginning. I grip the edges of the podium at the Langston Convention Center, my knuckles white against the polished wood. The crowd before me ripples with tension faces I've known my whole life, now twisted with uncertainty. Sienna stands at the back, her designer heels planted firmly on marble floors, megaphone raised like a weapon. My legal team from Harrison and Yale will be filing immediate action, she announces, her voice amplified and distorted. Anyone supporting Mira's fraudulent claims will face severe consequences. My tablet chimes with notifications, dozens of them. On the screen, doctored images flood social media, receipts with altered dates, permits with fabricated signatures. My renovation project, my 4 years of work, painted as a web of deception. Sienna's PR team works fast, flooding every platform with their carefully crafted lies. The evidence clearly shows systematic fraud. Sienna continues, her voice echoing through the megaphone. Years of financial mismanagement and permit violations. She gestures to the screen behind her, where manipulated video clips play on loop moments from renovation updates, twisted and edited to support her narrative. Independent media representatives huddle over laptops, their faces illuminated by screens as they fact-check in real time. The first whispers of doubt ripple through the crowd. I catch fragments of conversation. The timestamps don't match. These signatures. But I work faster. Speaking of fraud, I say into the microphone, my voice steady despite the thunder of my heart, let's talk about evidence. I tap my tablet, and the convention center's massive display screen flickers to life. The first email appears Sienna's message to Damien, timestamp clear as crystal. Once we force the sale, the profit margins will be astronomical. Mira's too naive to fight back. Murmurs ripple through the crowd. Sienna's megaphone wavers. With methodical precision, I work through my presentation. Each piece of evidence lands like a physical blow. Here's the original permit application, and here another swipe is Sienna's forged version. Note the identical signature, pixel for pixel. Forgery software leaves traces, cousin. The crowd shifts closer to the screen. A journalist in the front row types furiously on her laptop. I catch Nathan's eye and the audience nods, almost imperceptibly. Behind him, influential investors lean forward, their expressions hardening as the truth unfolds. This is absurd. Sienna snaps, but her voice cracks. Those documents are clearly time-stamped and notarized. I pull my grandmother's locket from beneath my blazer, clicking it open to reveal a tiny USB drive, including the audio recording from your meeting with Damien last week, the one where you outlined the entire scheme. The megaphone slips from Sienna's fingers, clattering against marble. The sound echoes through suddenly still air. I reach into my pocket and withdraw a single business card, crisp white against my dark sleeve. The logo gleams. Jonathan Reed Law Offices. With deliberate slowness, I hold it up for the crowd to see, then let it fall. It lands face up on the podium, a declaration of war in letterhead. The power in the room shifts like a physical current. Where Sienna once commanded attention, she now stands isolated. Damien steps away from her, his phone already at his ear. Even from here, I catch fragments. Withdraw immediately. Reputation risk can't be associated. The formal lawsuit will be filed today, I announce. Anyone involved in this conspiracy has 24 hours to come forward voluntarily. After that, I let the silence hang, heavy with promise. Long-standing family members who once wavered now step forward. Uncle Marcus, his voice carrying across the room. This manipulation ends now. Aunt Helen, typically reserved, adds her public denouncement. Each declaration lands like another nail in the coffin of Sienna's scheme. The convention center erupts in controlled chaos. Investors pull out phones. Family members cluster in urgent discussion. But I keep my eyes on Sienna as her carefully constructed world crumbles. Her face drains of color as her most powerful allies, family friends, business partners, even her PR team begin to distance themselves, creating a visible void around her. In the aftermath, I stand alone in the now hushed convention center. My hands move mechanically, gathering evidence files and storing backup drives. Each document represents a piece of my life I've had to fight to protect. The renovation receipts, the permit applications. 4 years of dreams defended through sheer force of will. The quiet feels heavy, meaningful. I settle into a corner chair, allowing myself a moment to absorb the magnitude of what's just happened. My reflection in the darkened windows shows someone changed harder, perhaps, but unbroken. That's when I see it. Buried beneath the chaos of the past few weeks, a new email catches my eye. The sender, an anonymous corporate whistleblower. The subject line makes my breath catch. Sienna's scheme, just the tip of the iceberg. I stare at the words, my mind racing. The email suggests a pattern of corruption extending far beyond my apartment, beyond Sienna and Damien. A network of real estate fraud that could shake the entire market. The convention center's lights dim, signaling the end of the event. But for me, this feels less like an ending and more like a prelude. I close my tablet, the whistleblower's email burning in my thoughts. Some people say revenge is best served cold, but I've learned it's best served with irrefutable evidence and perfect timing. What do you think is the most satisfying part of seeing a villain brought to justice? Would you ever risk everything to expose the truth? Morning light streams through the expansive windows of my living room, casting long shadows across the restored hardwood floors. I pause in the center of the space, letting my fingers trail along the smooth grain of wood I'd spent countless weekends sanding and staining. Each board tells a story not just of renovation, but of reclamation. The soft glow catches the brass handles of my grandmother's antique sideboard, now proudly displayed against the exposed brick wall I'd painstakingly restored. My reflection fragments across its polished surface, a woman transformed, standing taller, eyes bright with hard-won wisdom. I moved to adjust a frame on the wall of photograph from that fateful night at Langston Convention Center. Sienna's engagement party. The night everything changed. In the image, crystal chandeliers cast fractured light across shocked faces as I stood at the podium, evidence in hand. The memory still bites, but the pain has mellowed into something else. Something stronger. Nathan appears in the doorway, his presence a quiet comfort rather than the source of tension it once was. "Coffee's ready," he says, holding out a steaming mug. The easy gesture speaks volumes about how far we've come. He takes in the photograph, his expression thoughtful. Sometimes I still can't believe how it all played out. Neither can I. I accept the coffee, breathing in its rich aroma. But every step led us here. The doorbell chimes, and I welcome my guests, the ones who stood by me when everything fell apart. Elsie arrives first, her warm embrace as fierce as ever. Jordan follows, his shoulders still tight with the weight of his own workplace betrayal. Others filter in, friends, family members who chose truth over manipulation, allies who helped expose the corruption that had poisoned my family for so long. We gather in the dining area, where laughter and genuine conversation have replaced the hollow pleasantries of the past. Soft jazz plays from the vintage record player, another restoration project that proved more rewarding than expected. The music mingles with the clinking of glasses and honest conversation, creating a symphony of healing. I find Jordan by the window, his gaze distant. "How are you holding up?" I ask, recognizing the look of someone wrestling with betrayal's bitter taste. "Some days are harder than others," he admits. "The legal team says we have a strong case, but..." He trails off, fingers tapping nervously against his glass. "But you're worried about the personal cost," I finish. "The sleepless nights, the constant second-guessing." I lean against the windowsill, choosing my words carefully. "When Sienna first orchestrated my eviction, I thought I'd never trust anyone again. But here's what I learned. Exposing the truth doesn't just protect you, it protects everyone they might have hurt next." Jordan's shoulders relax slightly. "How did you stay so focused? Keep fighting when it felt impossible." "I documented everything," I explain. "Every conversation, every email, every suspicious glance. Build your case like you're constructing a house solid foundation first, then add each piece with purpose. And most importantly, I meet his eyes. Remember, you're not alone." The gathering continues into early evening, but eventually I find myself alone on the balcony. The sun breaks over the horizon, painting the sky in shades of promise. Below, the city awakens, unaware that its skyline now represents something different, to me not a reminder of what I almost lost, but a testament to what I've gained. I pull out my tablet, fingers flying across the screen as I refine my latest project, a community initiative to protect others from similar exploitation. The program will offer legal resources, documentation strategies, and most importantly, a network of support for those facing institutional betrayal. The sunrise bathes my face in warmth as memories flash through my mind. The day I received the eviction notice, the night I discovered Sienna's manipulation, the moment I finally exposed the truth to everyone at her engagement party. Each memory strengthens my resolve. This apartment, once a battlefield of family loyalty versus justice, now serves as command central for something bigger than myself. I lean against the railing, feeling the solid metal beneath my palms. The city stretches before me, full of stories waiting to be rewritten, wrongs waiting to be righted. My own story has shifted from victim to victor, but it's not the end. It's a beginning of sunrise breaking through the longest night, illuminating the path forward for others who might follow. This is my new purpose, my true renovation project. And this time, I'm building something that can never be taken away. How do you think overcoming betrayal can change a person's life? Share your thoughts and any similar experiences in the comments below.